Nathan, here we are on the eve of the 2021 Premier League final last year. But do you come into this year's tournament a little bit of soul searching to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. Form's not been great. I've had some good games in there, but obviously not been winning. As you know, I've been teetering with new darts and new equipment. A lot of stuff going on at home, which has now been sorted. House-wise, not relationship-wise. So, but that's all sorted now. And you'll see on Monday night when I'm playing, I've gone back to my old darts at the moment, which is something I said I wouldn't do. Which I'm sure you'll be thriving to put an headline on that. Nathan's gone back on his word. But I've been playing with him, and just a few things that I've noticed with him. The grip's been too long for me. I've been catching it quite a lot, pulling a lot of darts. So back to basics, try and get a bit of confidence back with my old darts, and we're working on a new set again. But no, I've been practicing a couple of weeks with these my old darts, and yeah, I feel great, and I actually do feel confident going into the Premier League, to be fair.
It was on my list to ask you, because you said that we had free rein to question you if you got them out of the drawer again. When did you kind of make that decision that the new ones weren't working and you had to go back to old faithfuls?
When Lisa beat me in the World Series, the Super Series. So to be fair, like I said, I've been playing really well, but not the standards I need to be at to be going deep in, especially the Pro Tour. You know, I've been averaging around the 95 mark, a couple of poor games, but Lisa beat me, and fair play to her. She finished everything against me, and I phoned Kirsty up, my partner, and I said, go upstairs, go in my drawer, get my darts, get him to the post office. I want him at the hotel by 9 a.m. It cost me 30 quid to send him. But yeah, I've got him, and first game back with him, he had 107 average. I actually got beat, believe it or not, against Richie Headhouse, but I just felt comfortable. It's like anything, you go back to what's comfortable for you, and that's what I've done. And okay, I didn't have the greatest of Pro Tours, but I'd not threw these darts since the World Championship. So even though they were my old darts, I was learning to throw them again. So I took a lot of confidence from a couple of the games. Been practicing with them the last couple of weeks, and yeah, they seem to be going where I want them to.
We've heard MVG say this a lot as well, and it's the same for you. As a professional dart player, can you throw anything, but it's always in the back of your head that had gone in with the old set?
Yeah, I think that it's the mental side of it. Like you say, I can pick up a set of brass darts or any darts, and you know, after probably 2 or 3 minutes, I would have hit a 180 with them. It's when you're in a game situation and you got one dart double 16, and you might pull it, and you think, if you had that my old darts, I wouldn't have missed that. And it's the psychological side of things. So, you know, I've been using these new darts. I've been doing interviews, and I've used every excuse under the sun. Back to my old faithful. So, you know, I'll just go and do the job now, and then I don't need to make any excuses.
Just looking at your form, obviously, I think you're probably the player that suffered most from no crowds, and you've openly admitted that. With light at the horizon and a potential Barry's teased us that there may be some fans towards the end of the Premier League, is that your goal, just to make sure that you're there for if that happens?
Yeah, definitely. Me personally, I don't think there will be any crowd at any of the Premier League, which I'm absolutely gutted about. I've been in it now 2 years, and all I want to do is play at Manchester. And obviously, I'm not going to get that opportunity again this year. So go and win it this year, then I'm back in it next year. So then I can play in front of my home fans. But yeah, I have suffered. But everyone's in the same boat. People are dealing with it in different ways. For me as well, it's the sitting in your room. You know, I love going out playing golf. I love going out having a game of pool after the game of darts, going out for nice food. And obviously, we're just literally cooped up in our room, and I'm missing my kids more now than ever because you've got a lot of time to think about stuff sat in a room. So, yeah, it's been tough. I can't wait to see the end of it, to be fair. And like I say, my form has backed that up, what I've said. I've not been doing very well, but, you know, new head going into the Premier League, and we're playing every night against the best players in the world. You know, if I can't go up for that, then I shouldn't be playing darts.
Speaking of new head and everything like that, was it a relief when that UK Open money dropped off? Because I know it had been hanging over you. People have been asking questions about where you're going to defend it. Was it on your mind? Is that not like a clean slate for you that you can just look to the future and build again?
To be fair, a lot of people were going on about it, and I've mentioned it a few times. But in all honesty, you got to look at 2 years ago, first round in the match play. Think pretty much first or second round in every event. So back end of the year, I can kind of go. It'll feel like it was 2 years ago, where everything's a plus. Because obviously, I've defended about $250,000 in the last 3 months, and I'm still in the top 10. Everyone around me, they're dropping like flies. To be fair, you got Smithy, Duzzer, Whitey, Darryl. I couldn't believe it the other day. He's gone out to 15, and it was only 12 months ago. He's number 6 or something. It's just mental. But I don't worry about it too much. What will be. It's down to me to have good tournaments in the tournaments that I didn't do very well in 2 years ago, and build that ranking money back up. But I trust my own ability, and I'm due to win a game at the match play, so I'm hoping for a good run there in July.
Last one from me. You touched on it there, what you're defending and whatever, and your form's not been the best. You're back to being that underdog. Is that something that you like again? Because
I love it.
Because you've been dogged as favourite for this, and people are talking about you to win titles, but now you're going under the radar again. Does that suit you down to the ground?
Oh, I love it. Everyone thinks I'm getting eliminated from the Premier League. I hope they've all put money on it because they'll lose a fortune. I love it, to be fair. Obviously, I've kind of come from nowhere to, back-to-back semis, winning the UK, winning the Masters, run up in the Premier League, big tournaments. We're not talking Pro Tours or European, we're talking massive TV events. And I've gone from, normally 30, 40s to 1 to like 8 to 1 to win tournaments with amazing players in it. So that does carry a bit of burden with it. You're thinking, right, everyone's expecting me to at least get to the semis, to the final. And you do think about that. Now I'm back to the states that I like, where people think I'm going to lose. People think I'm a one-hit wonder, as the phrase that they always say. And I love that, because I love proving people wrong. Yourself, Phil, I say it all the time in interviews, I love proving people wrong. And everyone thinks that me and Glenn are getting relegated because we've had 8 bad floor tournaments. You see these stats. I'm averaging 92, Glenn's averaging 90, we're getting relegated. More fool them if they think that's the case, because, rest assured that isn't going to happen.
Nathan, pleasure as always, mate, and wish you all the very best on Monday.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Hi, Nathan. Hope you're well.
Hi, mate.
When I spoke to you last year before the Premier League resumed in Milton Keynes, you just won the home tour, and you said you were playing dreadful. And I don't think you've probably changed that view in all that time. It's been since we've lost the crowds.
Yeah.
You seem to have lost your mojo completely. Is there a sign that that's going to change? I know you talked about your darts and stuff, but mentally, have you come across that now?
Yeah, to be fair, I am a strong mental guy, to be quite honest with you. It's a boredom with me. I don't get the same buzz walking out in front of, a few officials as I would do to walking out in front of 7,000 people. And it's still new to me. So I still get, when I'm stood at that walk-on and the song comes on dead loud and everyone's cheering, the buzz that you get from that, you can't describe it until you've done it. And that's kind of been taken away from us. But everyone's been in the same boat. I just really need to get fired up. And I think Gezzy's found something that he can get fired up without the crowd and without doing what he normally does. I think Michael's probably like me. We are still trying to find that thing to get us fired up. I can't drink any more Red Bulls before we walk on stage. So, I have. It's been 12 months now, and I think the fact that I'm playing every single night against the best players, I know I have to perform. So I do think I'll be fine coming into the Premier League, but I've kind of forgot about last year now. I took the positives from the Premier League campaign, but to be quite honest with you, the rest of it I've just completely put to the back of my mind, and trying to start fresh this year.
On the same note, I think I know Gary Anderson said during that the blocks of time Milton Keynes that the players were going stir crazy.
Yeah.
And again, that's something else that affects you as well, as you've said already.
Yeah, I think certainly the one just gone. I'd lost first game against Lisa. Fair play to her, she played really well. And then I got beat on the second day, first round, 107 average. I'm like going back to my room, but I'm back I'm coming down to the venue, I'm having my 2.5 hours practice, I'm playing, and then back to my room at 3 o'clock. Watch my tipping point and my chase, and then there's nothing else to do. So come Thursday, I got beat second game, and I was ready for home. And I was going to drive home that night, and then my partner said, stick it out, play Friday, and just play and drive home, which is what I did. I just couldn't wait to get home, but it is hard. It's like I keep saying, everyone's in the same boat. But for me, and certainly the bigger players, our buzz is playing on TV. We don't get up for it as much on these pro tours, and especially when you're locked in your room for 18 hours a day, it's even harder to stay focused and get that hunger to win all the time. But yeah, Premier League's different. We're on telly every night, so hopefully the hunger will be there. So it will be there, I would say.
Great stuff. Thank you, Nathan. And good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nathan, you mentioned previously that you and Glenn are probably have been touted as the two favourites for relegation. Do you think it's a good time to play Glenn first up, obviously on Monday night?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy with me. Well, certainly my first 5 games I'm really happy with, to be fair. Obviously I've got Glenn first game, and it's common knowledge he's really, really struggling. I heard an interview that he did. I think Barry Earn was on it as well, and it was really negative, and it's not nice to hear. I've been struggling a bit, but you've got to stay positive, and I think he will. I think he'll come good in the Premier League, to be fair, this year. I think he struggled probably a bit like me, being away, just playing in the pro tour environment. But yeah, we're both underdogs. Look what happened last year. We was underdogs last year, and we both got to the final. So yeah, I'm happy to play him first, to be fair. Obviously followed by Dimmy on his debut. And then Gezi, them first 3 games I'm quite happy with, because I always have a good battle with Gezi, and kind of got the upper hand at the moment on him. So yeah, just can't wait to get going.
Momentum is a huge thing in the Premier League. You learned that last year, and you mentioned those 3 opening games. A win, maybe 4 points from those opening 3 games, and suddenly the confidence is back, and we start maybe to see the old Nathan Aspinall.
Yeah, that's definitely it. I feel like come the end of the series was gone, even though it was losing, I felt like I had a bit of my swagger back, a bit of my hop, as you all call it. So I'm hoping, obviously, get off to a good start on Monday night. Back that up with a good result on Tuesday. Then all of a sudden, you 4 from 4, your confidence is sky high. You might be playing a guy that's still to get a point on the board. With Gezi in the third game, you never know. Obviously, it works both ways, doesn't it? If you struggle, if you have a slow start, then pressure's on you. Go out there, get 1 or 2 wins from the first 2 or 3 games, and you're buzzing and you're full of confidence, and pressure's on your opponent, not yourself.
Do you think there's more or less expectation on yourself this year, considering form and all the factors going into the Premier League?
I think there's less expectation, but I think there'll be a lot of eyes on me to see how I do. Look at what's happened with Rob. He's a world champion. He don't get the respect he deserves, from my opinion. Everyone slates him, saying he's a one-hit wonder, and he's won multiple major titles. He's just had a bit of dip in form. He's had stuff going on at home. That's what people forget. We're actually, we are actually human beings. We do have families and stuff happens at home, moving house, and problems with the kids and stuff. So, at the moment, I'm in a good place now. I've sorted a lot of things out at home. So yeah, if they want me to class me as underdogs, yeah, that'll do for me.
Oh, brilliant. Cheers for your time, Nathan.
Cheers.
Nathan, runner-up in last year's Premier League. Despite the form this year so far, you must believe that you're going into this competition that you can go one step further this time.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I loved it last year. Playing every night suits me. I love playing darts. So obviously, if you lose, normally you've got a week to dwell on it or whatever. Whereas in this format, as soon as you lose, you walk off stage, you have your 10 minutes, forget about it, you've got another game tomorrow. And I like doing that, getting things out of my head quick. But yeah, I did well last year. I feel like I could have won it. I didn't play my best game in the final. I think I burnt myself out against Pete in the semis. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and like you say, hopefully go one further this year.
So the format, you've got a row of 5 straight nights next week. You've just said there you prefer that. Is that better for you to get maybe a loss out of your system quicker than what it would be in normal circumstances?
Yeah, like I say, we're all good and we can all play to a ridiculous level, but on occasion you do have a dip in form, and you know, you could go into it. I could play fantastic Monday, Tuesday, have an absolute mare Wednesday, but you walk up and go, right, well, just put that down, just do a bad game tomorrow. Who am I playing? When am I on? Right, let's get back to Monday, Tuesday, and that's kind of the way I would, will approach it. If I do have that bad game, just forget about it. It happens, and you know, get back to winning the day after.
Obviously, we've had the Masters, the UK Open, and the Pro Tour floor events. How would you assess your year so far?
Pants. Yeah, to be fair, obviously the Masters, I ran into a ridiculous Mervyn King. He's been playing fantastic back end of last year. I was happy to get a leg, let alone 3. I was very happy when I got beat 7-3. I was 9-0 down, but you know, I had a battle with Mensa. Came out on top of there, and obviously Merv was just, he would have beat anyone that day. Same with the UK Open, to be fair. I think I had 103, 104 against Christoph. He just did miss nothing. 6-0 down again and got it back to 6-4. And yeah, I played well. Pro Tour wise, pretty poor. Just not been enjoying them. It's, you know, it's a long time away from the family, especially if you're losing your first round. Obviously, TV events, you lose first round, you go home. You lose first round, you're back for another day, and then another day, and another day. And yeah, I've struggled with them, to be fair, but practice is going well. I'm looking forward to it. I think I can do some damage this year.
The Premier League next week is 5 straight nights. You will be spending a lot of time in that room. Does it play on your mind a little bit? Is it hard to keep that concentration?
It's just a boredom, but just bought PGA 2021 for the PS4. So, because I'm not allowed to go and play golf, I bought a game instead. So, now I think I don't normally take my board with me, around my door, but I'm going to take that with me this time. Just try and give yourself something to do instead of just lying in bed all day. We're only allowed out for an hour a day to do exercise, but I'm a dart player, so we don't exercise. So that's wasted on me. But yeah, no, I'm just going to take the place of something I don't normally do, take the board and just try and keep myself, my head active, and try not just to be lying around all day, basically.
Obviously, you go up against Glenn on Monday, a player struggling for form at the moment. It's also a repeat of last year's final. How have you prepared going into that one and going into next week?
Just the same as I normally. I've upped my practice a bit. Practice seems to be going quite well, and I'll just treat it like every other game. You know, it's not going to be like normal where you're walking out in front of thousands and thousands of people. It's just going to be like a pro tour effectively, with a lot more money on the line. But yeah, I'll just treat it like every other game. Go up there, like I say, it's common knowledge that Glenn's been struggling, but I don't think he'll struggle through this Premier League campaign. I think he'll be back to playing how he can. So I'll have to be on my A game from the start. And like I say, all plans is on 2 points and get off this year with the start.
How important is it for you to get off to a winning start?
Massive. It just takes, obviously there's been a big build up to this, you know, probably 3 or 4 weeks now where people have started talking about the Premier League, who's winning it, who's getting relegated, and it in your head it's like it'll be like a sigh of relief. Get that first win, get them first points on the board, then you're into the Premier League, and then you can start enjoying it and, you know, climbing up the table week in, week out, or day in, day out this time.
You mentioned before about how predictions are going about, and a lot of people are predicting you and Glenn to be in near the bottom. Does that add fuel to the fire? Does that put fire in your belly?
1,000,000%, yeah. Mentioned it before. I kind of went from being an underdog to being one of the favourites to win everything that I was in, and that, for me, that's more pressure. You know, like I say, Gezi now world #1 world champion. He's got a massive target on his back. I love being the underdog. I love proving people wrong. You know, I love sticking 2 fingers up to people that think that I'm rubbish or no good or I'm a fluke. I get great joy out of proving people wrong, shall we say. And like I say, everyone thinks that me and Glenn are getting relegated. They thought that last year, and look what happened last year. So, you know, more fool them if they think that's the case.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Nathan, and best of luck next week.
Cheers, pal.
Hi, Nathan. Did you consider that the Premier League would have been a good chance to give your old new darts one last chance, given that, as you mentioned before, there's you're guaranteeing consistent matches against the world's best, no being knocked out early, no long wait to dwell on defeats. Would it have been a really good chance to get on stage and just use them and just see how you fare with them?
The new darts, you mean?
Well, the ones you've decided not to use anymore.
Yeah, absolutely not. There's a lot of money involved in the Premier League, and obviously it's a massive title, and obviously what comes with becoming the Premier League champion is huge. I've gave him 4 months, and like I've said, I'm actually not playing that bad with him, but at times there's certain things that I've noticed when I'm playing with him that I don't quite like. So we are tweaking him at the moment, but with such a big tournament, I'm going back to Mill Faithfuls.
I mean, I just rewatched this morning the video of when you announced you were changing your new darts and the reasons, and one of them was that the Old Faithfuls, like the grips were wearing away. Is that not? Is that? Can you adapt to that again?
What I've done is so my old set I could never change him, even though they're the same darts, I couldn't change him. But what happened was when I got a set sent up to me last week, there was a brand new set, so they have got a bit of grip on them. So they're not the ones that I've used for the last 3 years. They're the same dart, but a brand new set of them. So there is still grip on them, which I've been playing quite a lot, so they are wearing out. But I've just got to, like I say, it was because the arenas were so cold that I got this grip on. But I bought myself like hand warmers now and trying to think of something else instead of the grip. So instead of the dart, trying to change my how my hands are, etc. And like I said, it seemed to be working. So yeah, I'm going for it.
When we touched a bit on ranking money and say the relief of the UK Open issue and things like that. What about the Premier League? There's no money to defend. So is that also a bit of a relief that you can enter this event without any kind of ranking issue?
Yeah, I'm glad it's not. I don't have to defend it. That would have been an expensive couple of months. Bloody hell. But yeah, no, we don't have to defend the Premier League, so I'm quite happy with that. And at the end of the day, it is just a giant exhibition and to entertain, all the fans really. The best of the best playing each other night in, night out. So yeah, it's you do approach it a little bit different because you don't think, well, 2 years ago I got to the final, I need at least this. That kind of thing is out of your head. Just go up there and enjoy it for what it is. It's the biggest tournament in the world, well, after the World Championships, and just, I'm happy to be involved in it and just go up there and do my best every night. There's
obviously a lot of debate about the lineup and players in the top 10 who aren't in it, and you could make a case for lots of players outside the top 10 being in it. Do you think some would say, should it just be the top 10 in the world and it could be ranking event, because you'd have to you'd be earning your right to be in there rather than relying on invitations? Where do you stand on that?
No, I don't think you could ever have it as a ranking event. I think, you imagine, I can't remember what it is. I think it's 30, maybe 35 if you come 10th, and if you win it, it's 250. You imagine having to defend that 2 years later and you're not even in the tournament. Do you see what I mean? Or the lads trying to break into the top 10, they've got absolutely no chance because number 10 could come 5th and win 50, 60 grand. They don't have the opportunity to win that money. So I think it would be unfair on the players outside the top 10. I would have liked it last year, to be fair, because then I'd probably be in the top 4 now. But no, I don't think you can class it. I think that's why the World Series, etc., is not a ranking event. I just think it would be unfair on the players who are in it.
What about having the entry really simple as top 10, and then it gives people a year-long kind of target, and that's a define. It's not well, come on, I might be 16th, but I did win this, or someone will say, oh, he only won that, but he gets in, even though the season didn't go to plan.
It's such a hard thing to do, to pick, shall we say, because you pick your top 10, but then you might have number 16, shall we say, that goes and wins a match play, but because the gap's so big in the money, number 11 now, to win a tournament like the match play, you should be in you should be rewarded with getting a Premier League spot, in my opinion. So I don't know. It is tough. Obviously, as well, the Premier League is a massive exhibition show. You know, if you've got some guy that's ranked number 8, but he's quite boring and slow and doesn't really give you anything, are people really going to want to watch him? Or you've got, say, for example, like, say, Gezi falls down and he's number 12, he's an entertainer. Who would you rather have, the world number 8 who's boring and slow, or Gezi who's number 12 but entertains? That's kind of all the elements that they've got to think about. So I think the way they do it is fair. Unless I'm in the top 10 and I'm on it. So, yeah.
Just one last one from me then. You said, we've touched on this, that you among the favourites to finish towards the bottom, but there are question marks surrounding pretty much everyone apart from maybe Johnny Clayton. Is that some consolation in that you could look at everyone and say, well, his form's not great, or he's been inconsistent, and you can work your way down that list, and no one would be surprised if any of the 10 win, and you wouldn't really be that surprised if any of them go down.
Yeah, listen, you won't watch it, but I'm good pals with Johnny. But everyone's got this thing with him at the moment. Like, okay, he's playing brilliant. Don't get me wrong, he's playing really well, and for me, probably the best player standard-wise at the moment. But the Premier League's different. He's never experienced it, and you have to be your best night in, night out. We're all beating everyone. Even ranked 120th on a Pro Tour, they're beating the world number 1. Look at Aaron Beanie, the other week. He beat, what's it called? Gezi. Louis who's waving at me next to me, he beat MVG. He just won his tour card. We all can beat each other. So, listen, I would like to put a bet on it who's going to get eliminated, who's going to get in the top 4, who's going to win it, because it is so open this year.
Yeah, and sorry, just one last one. It's one thing you touched on the last question before, about when people say that you're rubbish. Is that kind of social media abuse? Because obviously some players have suffered from that, or are you alluding to maybe the media writing you off?
Well, it's a bit of both, really. Not so much like you guys, not so much you, but on social media, we do get so much abuse. It's unreal. There's nothing anyone can do about it because we're on there. We're so easily approachable. That's something that's down to the individual to either get a management team to sort it out or to come off it completely. But yeah, they do. If you have one bad game, the messages you get because they've lost 50p on it. You know what I mean? It's just pathetic. But yeah, it is mainly the social media side. But we've had it that much, we just kind of laugh it off now and just say, if you can't afford to lose 50p, don't put a bet on me, kind of thing.
So you wouldn't consider coming off it? Because I know some players have, or some, and not just in darts, in other sports.
So I have, my manager does all the most of my social media. My Facebook, I have one page which is mainly friends. But yeah, I have access to it. Every now and then I will go on it and put all my posts are from me, but my inbox messages, etc., which is where you get the abuse.
Yeah,
they clear out before I go on it. Because I'll reply me, I'll go mental. So yeah, to get rid of it before I can reply and get in trouble.
But you should give that tactic to everyone else who's suffering.
Yeah, well, we all do speak about it. I think Mike Smith's come off everything now because he's been getting a lot of abuse. But it does come with the territory, I suppose. But sometimes it do go too far. I can't even say half the stuff that I've had. Disgusting, some of it. But if people lose a bet and they send you a message, you think, what an idiot. I've lost 10 grand and you're moaning about 50p. you know what I mean? Come on, lad.
Yeah.
But then when they abuse you and the family, that's out of order. But like I say, we deal with it.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot and all the best next week and beyond.
Thank you very much.